Hey, how's everybody doing? It's Crawdaddy here. Just wanted to give you guys a quick little something. I don't know if you call it a note, a video blog, rambling off the top of my head, what? But just a little bit of a current affair that's going up. Earlier this month, it's the night before Halloween 2012, so I think about 2 weeks ago, renowned food expert, foodie, guy who's on his way to getting this country back to where we need to be and eating actual food instead of so-called science experiments that people are labeling as food. You know the guy I'm talking about. His name's Michael Pollan. Wrote the Omnivore's Decree, a little tiny book called Food Rules in Defense of Food is a great one as well. Anyway, he's in the news a little bit right now, mostly because of all the Prop 37 stuff that's going on in California. California, and they've got proposition, proposition, proposition. Hopefully this time it'll be proposition and then action, which it hasn't really gone that way in the past. But anyway, because all that stuff is at the forefront, and for those of you who don't know, Prop 37 is trying to get companies to label GMOs or genetically modified organisms. So you buy a little can of corn or whatever, and at least at the very minimum, hopefully there'll be a little sticker on there letting you know that wasn't made naturally. That your corn may be corn paired with a spider, to give it a longer shelf life or what have you. There's infinite possibilities for what they mix our food with these days. But getting ready for all that stuff, he did put a little editorial together that I've got here. It's called A Vote for the Dinner Party. The elections are less than 2 weeks away, and hopefully this will say something that's in people's minds. I just wanted to review it a little bit. Like I said, this isn't anything more than just his thoughts on what's going on. So he starts it off by letting us know that this is something that matters to us, which we kind of already know. That this is there's all the pink slime problems. Foods are causing more death and disease than ever now, but because they don't know that's the sole cause for it, it's just not getting in the news. Besides, who's going to buy something labeled now it's cancer-causing agents? And since money rules the world, that seems to be the problem we're in. He does go ahead and tell us to go ahead and, things we already know, you should buy things local and organic. Organic and local are not the same thing. Organic itself means that no pesticides, no chemicals, everything's natural in it. Whereas local means it was grown within the local area. A lot of times they do mean the same thing, but in order to get that organic certification, farmers have to shell out a lot of money, and sometimes they don't. So when you're buying local produce, go ahead and ask if it's organic. You're buying, steaks from your local butcher. It might be grass-fed, it might not. A lot of people actually don't know the difference. So I prefer my steak to not be one that's fed, cow that's fed by other animals. Their animals and cattle are like them are what are called rudimen, meaning that their bodies have protein building agents in them. So whereas our bodies don't, and that's why I continue to eat meat, but that's another topic. So local food may be organic, it may not. You just have to ask on it, okay? He also goes ahead and reminds us that California is the place to be. Bob Harper, America's favorite trainer, said that he knew he wanted to get in the fitness industry. He had to go to California because that's where things happen. And Pollan kind of reminds us in his little editorial that in California, the way it goes is they kind of put the cart before the horse. They propose something and then see what goes on, from there. The gay marriage activity that went on, you kind of saw that with Prop 8. It started in California, and then the rest of the earth kind of became more familiar with it. Not only the U.S., but the whole earth kind of became more familiar with it. And then the exact same thing with the tax rebellion of the 70s was Prop 13, and then medical marijuana was also nationwide awareness started as Prop 215. So, also states that, before, in the past, we bought whatever was on there. Nobody really cared. Nobody took a look at the ingredients. But now we're becoming a little more aware. Big food is no longer got the confidence from the people that it used to. So, Monsanto being the big one. You can't really talk about food without talking about the company that owns corn. Not only do they own corn, well, soy as well. Not only do they own it, but they own a patent on it. You can't own a patent on something completely natural. It's God-given. There's no way you can patent on it. But they can, because most of what's out there is not natural. It's genetically modified. Then he also goes on to talk about how food in the supermarkets is completely different. Your supermarket today is not your parents' one. It's not even your grandparents' one. Every generation it's kind of changing. I've got a couple kids myself. I'm the oldest is 5. The youngest is 6 months old. They are not going to shop in the same type of supermarket as I am. Part of me says thank God to that. Hopefully the food revolution will take place and we won't have to worry about that. But as of right now, big food really has it. You can see that by, especially if you go into really big supermarkets like Walmart, Kroger, Dillon's, which is Baker's as well, or Target, even in their bigger stores, they have a specific health food. Greek philosopher Hippocrates said that food should be our medicine. There shouldn't be a separate area just for health food. The entire area should be food that's good for us. So, which is something else to think about. Why is there a separate section for health food and the rest of the food is not good for us? It should be the other way around. All the food's good for us, and let's have this little section for sweets and food that's not necessarily great for us. So it seems to be backwards. So also talks about weather. Pollan's really big point seems to be that regardless of what happens, whether Prop 37 passes or it doesn't pass, things are not going to be the same as they are now, which I'm kind of excited for. If it does pass, then the government will realize that even though this is at a state level, the entire United States is actually ready for this food revolution. We want to know what's in our food. We want to eat better. A lot of people can't really, they say they can't afford to eat better, but let's give them the opportunity to. Let's make food more affordable. Let's subsidize more than just a couple crops. And let's go ahead and make it more than just a couple crops that are genetically modified, because one company kind of owns it. If it doesn't pass, then it's a way of saying, it's the first little knock at the door. Everyone gets to know what Jehovah's Witness is, but the first one you don't listen to. Second one comes by, you go ahead and it becomes more than just an annoyance. It becomes a voice. It becomes something in your ear. And that's what's the thing about Prop 37, good or bad, is going to be, is before it's just people think of those that want to eat better. Oh, we're an elitist. We think that we deserve better food than what everybody else is eating. It's not true. We want food, actual nourishment food. For those who know me, yes, I am a Christian. I believe that part of our Christian duty is to eat the food that comes from God. I don't want to get onto a religious rant here, but I think that, and many people would agree, that our even though we don't live in a Christian nation, we actually that we have become further as a people away from God the further that our food got manufactured. So I think that eating right and taking care of your body is all a way of worship. And that's kind of where that's the challenge that Pollan gives us, is are you at? What do you it just gives us the opportunity to think about what is it with our food. Either way, I'm really excited about the changes that Prop 37 is, and as my final shout out, just want to go ahead and tell people, whether you care that Prop 37 passes or you don't, not only this issue, but take the issues that mean a lot to you. Like I said, I have kids. What goes into them, what goes into me, I really care about. So do your research, find out what issues you care about, and please get out there and vote.